Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. What did you think about the school, Sierra? Like, what was your what were you-
I
like
thought they
what
were
decisions do you have to make?
well because like Fresno State is like well, San Jose State's more in the city, so it was like a very different vibe rather than Fresno State, which was like around a bunch of like farms and stuff. But it was still really nice. Both of the schools are really nice, and like Fresno State has like a football team, and San Jose doesn't. So like I wouldn't get like that full experience maybe at San Jose State, but they're both different. So I don't know.
Michael, how did you make your decision about college?
I wanted to like location was really big for me. I wanted to be like far away from home, but not like too far. And then like size, I grew up in mostly like small schools and I kind of wanted to like get out there. So I picked like a big school to put myself out there more and like push my comfort zone. And then like basically I'm really into like poli sci and like journalism and like my college has like really good programs for both of those.
Okay.
Is that like when you first decide to look at colleges, is that something that you look at in terms of like you want to be away from home?
Well, I did just because I just wanted to like be able to say like, oh, I lived in another state and just like not be so dependent on my parents. So
Hi,
that's what I look
Camille.
for.
I'm sorry, Michael. Camille, this is Michael, and this is Sierra. You know Sierra, I think.
Yes.
Hi.
Camille. So we were just chatting, waiting for you. And Camille is in Boston, so we have to give her some grace because her time is a little off, right?
Yeah, 3 hours ahead.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, I'm so grateful for you guys coming on and giving me the opportunity to interview you about this. I think it's an important topic that is not being talked about, but in today's environment, there are a lot of people that can utilize this information. So think of this podcast as you helping somebody else, not so much for yourself, but that you're going to be helping other people that will listen to this podcast. And when I say other people, I'm specifically talking about people of color because that's what this podcast is about. So thank you for joining another episode of Let's Talk with Sharon. Today's topic is about Black girls in white spaces. And our guests today are going to share their experiences and their perceptions, because it is your perceptions, what it was like to attend an all white high school or college. So without further ado, we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it. So I just had Sierra and Michael introduce themselves to each other. So Camille, tell us a little bit about because Sierra just went to look at, Sierra's finishing up high school, yay. And Camille, you're a freshman at Boston, right?
Sophomore now. Second.
Oh, you're a sophomore. Yeah. Oh, okay. Moving up there. Okay. And Michael is a freshman. So I want you guys to tell each other a little bit about yourself before we get into the Q&A. How about that? So Camille, let's start with you since you came on last and they were already talking.
Sure. So sophomore in college currently. I'm studying health science, which is pretty much a public health type of major, and I am sort of pre-med, pre-PA, in between those. My current school right now is still mostly predominantly white, but I would say a little more diverse than other colleges in my area, which is good. We do have a lot of different, organizations and clubs, which I'll get into later in the podcast. But ultimately, I chose coming from California to Boston to go to school here and to be in the heart of like all the hospitals and all the medical related fields. So that's me.
Yeah, that's good. And Michael will tell you, because she's already told us, Sierra, a little bit about her school and why she's there and why she chose that school.
Well, hi, I'm Michael. I'm a freshman at the University of Oregon. I'm studying political science and journalism, and University of Oregon is like a predominantly white public university. And I chose this school because like based off the programs, they were really good and I love the location. And yeah, is there anything else I should like talk about it?
Oh, do you guys want to step into the questions? You ready? Q&A. I love this part. So tell me a little bit about the challenges and experiences of attending a school that was predominantly white, whether that's your high school or your college. And the second part of that, there's a couple more parts to that, but I want to know if you felt excluded. So, and if you need me to repeat it, let me know. So we can start with Sierra.
Okay. I wrote it down on my phone. Is that okay if I
Okay,
read it
that's
from my
fine.
phone?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
so I said most of the time I felt included because my school wasn't really, it was predominantly white, but I had friends that weren't just white, so they made me feel included and like I could share my experiences with them. But there were some times that I did feel like nobody really understood some of the stuff that I was going through. But some things that I do remember from high school, specifically my freshman years, people would always ask me like, once they found out that I was Black, they'd be like, "Oh, can I have the N-word pass?" As if it was something that you could
I'm
just
sorry,
have a
say that
pass
again.
for. The N-word pass.
Is that a thing? I mean, like, I'm
Yes.
curious. Like, people ask that question?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. So it was like as if it was something like that could just, you could have a pass to say the word. And, or people would just like start acting different once they found out my race, which was something that I experienced, but nothing really too bad at my school.
And Camille?
So my high school was also predominantly white, and then now my college is too. I was lucky to have different friends from different backgrounds and different groups that understood me, and some of my closest friends are Black too, so I always could go to them. And here at my school too, we have I would say it's still pretty much intermixed, but we do have specific clubs, such as our Black Student Union, and different things throughout the year that make us come together as a community more. So I would say that even though sometimes I do feel kind of that I'm the only Black girl in my class, or when I'm walking around, I don't always see many Black people, I still don't feel that alone, which is good. And it's just something I've kind of worked around, and found my group, found my space. And
Michael?
I would say I can't really speak on like college so far just because like I'm a freshman, like COVID, so I haven't been really able to like explore and meet a lot of people. But for high school, I kind of felt both like excluded and included at the same time. So like finding a friend group, I felt like it was kind of challenging, but like once I found it, they mostly had like different backgrounds and I felt included there. But like when I would go to class without them and all that, I kind of felt like I was excluded in like the majority, which was kind of tough for me. So like some experiences that I had, kind of like Sierra, like the N-word pass, like they would think it's funny, but it's just like kind of uncomfortable. And it's like, obviously, no, like, why would you even ask that? Or like, oh, can I touch your hair? Or like try to like say my name in a way they thought it would pronounce like my family pronounced it. And it was like really ghetto, which was really like, my name is Michael. Like, yeah, I get that's odd for a girl, but it's not like an odd name overall. And I would say some other stuff that was uncomfortable was probably like, the weird looks when talking about like civil rights and like slavery, which was kind of like tough because like I know it's my history, but you don't have to like give me like glare at me. So that was kind of like what I have gone through. But I'm looking forward to like joining different like Black student unions and like groups in college. So hopefully I'll find more friends that will look like me.
So let me ask you guys, this is a question for everybody, and it's not on the outline that I provided for you. I want to know, like, were your teachers supportive of you? Did they back you up when you had these experiences, where people made you feel excluded? And anybody can answer that question.
I would say for me personally, no. Most of my teachers, I think all of them in high school are white. So I don't think they really understood that it was wrong. But like for like the blatantly like wrong, like the N-word pass, they'd like, oh, stop. But they would just say stop. They wouldn't tell them why it's like inappropriate or like what they shouldn't say.
Anybody else?
We definitely didn't have a lot of support at my high school because we actually had a situation that happened where our teacher, she was a Black English teacher, and she wore a Black Lives Matter shirt to school, and I believe she was fired. I don't know if that was the exact reason because she wore the shirt. It could have been other things, but I know that was a major thing all the students were talking about, is that she was very vocal about supporting BLM and educating all of her students about it. And our school, I don't know what types of talks she had with administration about it, but it was a very big deal because everyone was surprised that they wouldn't let her express, and wear her shirts and whatnot. So that was a big deal at my high school.
Sierra, did you have any experiences at your high school?
I would say most of my teachers were white too. I think I only had one Black teacher, but none of them really spoke up on anything or like voiced their opinions on anything.
So the teachers basically were giving thumbs up to all these, I call them racial quotes, and just kind of letting it slide. And so that couldn't have made you feel included. So now let me ask you this. When you're in, I want to talk a little bit about the dating scene. So I'm going to ask you about how did you feel about your body image compared to the other girls, because that kind of ties into the dating. So tell me, because I feel as a Black woman and you as Black young women, our bodies are different. So I want to know how are you feeling in high school and in college about your body image? Like, are you feeling like positive about it? Are you being made to feel like you're overweight or chunky or like what? Anybody? Okay, I'll start with Camille.
I do feel like sometimes it can be, I think when I was younger, it was a little more apparent because there were like the jokes about like the fried chicken and watermelon. But I think over time that those types of things have gone away mostly. But I think I still feel subconscious, especially with, I was a cheerleader in high school and my entire cheer team was white and I was the only Black girl. And I noticed that I was heavier than the other girls. And it was really difficult because every Friday we had to wear our cheer uniform and it was always me comparing myself to them. And I knew the whole school was also looking at all of us and it was like all the white skinny girls and then it was just me, the Black girl at the end. And it was tough for a while just because I felt like there were always like eyes on me because of my decision, my choice to join the team. But yeah, I think that overall I've like been better with body image and learning, that it's about how you feel inside and how healthy that you feel, not necessarily, because health can mean a lot of things. It can mean if you're healthy in your mind, if you're healthy emotionally. It's not just the physical aspect of health. But yeah, that was my personal experience in high school.
So did you feel like, were you comparing yourself to them because in your head you were thinking that you were supposed to be the same size as they were?
Yeah, I think I was, just because of the whole, conception that society puts on cheerleaders, especially being like skinny and perfect in their uniforms, which I know is not true and not realistic. But I definitely think, because it was my first year on the team, I was only a sophomore, JV, first time doing cheer. So it was just all of those like conceptions going in.
That's a lot. And what about you, Michael?
I would say my body image was kind of twisted just because like what Camille said, like our bodies aren't like made the same. Like our bodies aren't made the same, but especially like between Black women and white women. And I feel like I like developed early on and I felt that I was like kind of like given like dirty looks about that, which kind of made me uncomfortable. Like I was on the tennis team and I felt like the same thing, like in my uniform. I was like the only Black girl. So obviously like my body was built different and I felt as if like it was I was receiving like negative feedback with stuff that I couldn't even like fix about myself.
And Sierra, did you have any experiences with body image?
Yeah, so at my school, I would get dress coded a lot for stuff that was I thought it was appropriate, and my mom, she let me go out of the house like that. And I would notice, especially during like towards the end of the school year, it would be like hot, so I would wear shorts. But the white girls would wear the same exact shorts, and they would be actually shorter than mine, and I would be the one to get dress coded because of the way that it fit me, I think, and they wouldn't get dress coded. And I don't think the faculty saw like a problem with that. So yeah, that was like really the only experience that I had, but I didn't let it like really get to me because I knew that that's just how things work out.
So the three of you, your experiences with body image was definitely something that was pointed out to you to make you feel less than, that you didn't fit in with what everybody else looked like. But I know that you guys all have strong mothers and fathers, and so I want to know what your experience was in terms of like when you brought that home and you said, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling," or did you even say that? Like, what type of support did you get at home to help you to navigate that, to help you to know that you're okay, that you're enough right now, just how you are? Did you get that or no?
I would say I got that a lot. My mom, especially, and my dad, whenever I, like, even from preschool would come home, I would tell them, like, this didn't sit right with me. Like, this is weird. And like, my parents were on it. Like, my mom was calling the school, like, telling them, like, you can't do that. Like, this is what's wrong with the problem. And like, my mom would explain, like, why I'm treated the way I'm treated in like different circumstances. So I think my parents taught me how to navigate, and like, they supported me through it.
And you, Camille?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I brought it up to my mom specifically, and she was the first one to kind of encourage me to get my uniform fitted if I wanted to, because I noticed that a lot of girls on the team had their uniform fitted, and it was like it would start off kind of like wide, the skirt in the top area, and she was like, if it makes you feel more comfortable, we can go, go get it however you like it, and however it makes you the most comfortable and the most confident. So just definitely having like my mom's support and then talking to my dad about it was huge, because I later just realized it's not, it's not anything wrong with me. It's just the conceptions I have about it. So.
And what about you, Sierra?
Yeah, my mom, she was always open about stuff with me, so I could talk to her about that stuff. And I, like Camille said, realized that there was nothing wrong with me. It's just how the world is. And I know that what I was wearing was appropriate to school because she would never let me out of the house in something that wasn't. So I know that it was fine.
So at least you guys had the support at home. So you weren't leaving your home base thinking, okay, something's wrong with me. And I'm talking to people that love me and are supposed to be nurturing me, and they're not supportive. So at least you have that. And so now I want to know how you navigate the spaces. Excuse me. How do you navigate the space? How did you navigate that space, and how are you making it work for you now? Like, you're basically what you did in high school in your freshman year of college. Like, how did you navigate that, and how are you making it work for you right now?
Well, I definitely think I have just a new perspective about it now, and through conversations similar to the ones we're having now and the conversations I have with my friends and my parents. It's just definitely helped me to grow and to learn about not only like my body image, but other girls' body image of my same race. So just having those conversations really helped me.
Anybody else want to chime in?
I would definitely agree with like the new perspectives, and just knowing like that's how the world's gonna be. It's not the best, but like you gotta push through harder. Like they always say, like you have to fight twice as hard and like work twice as hard. So it's just kind of like that. Yeah.
Sierra?
I think just like what Michael said, when my mom always told me it's going to be harder for you, especially since you're a woman of color, it's always going to be twice as hard for you. So
Are you guys proud of who you are and where you are in your, are you proud of your race? Are you proud to be Black girls? Would you?
yes.
I am.
Good. So glad to hear that.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I mean, because I do have clients that are not happy and are like, trying to be something different, trying to play a different role. So that is important because that means that you're like confident about who you are and you're in your own space. So currently, like I just asked you, what are you doing currently to operate in the space that you're in? I guess you guys are navigating and getting your posse together and getting a support system there. Is that correct? So you have friends that will like, because what does your inner circle look like? Are they like their nationalities? Are they Black? Are they white? Are they Indian, Chinese? What are they?
I think I have like a mix. I have a mix of I have different friend groups, kind of like middle school friends, like some high school, and then like extracurriculars. And in those circles, I feel that they're like mixed nationalities for the most part.
So, and Sierra?
Yeah. Well, my best friend, she's actually white, but two of my other closest friends, they're both Black. So I have people to go to.
Okay. And how do they feel about what's going on in today's BLM?
They're fully supportive of everything. And my two Black friends, they obviously understand it, and so does my best friend. She understands it and she's behind everything.
So, and Camille, your tribe?
Yeah, I would say the same. I have my friends from high school are really mixed, and then also here in college, I have like Indian, Asian, Mexican, just all different types of friends. And the Black friends I have, we did have conversations when BLM was going on, but I also had those same conversations with my other friends outside of the Black race. So just making sure that we all understand what's happening and how wrong the situation was last year. So.
Let's talk about something that probably you guys don't want to talk about, and I didn't put it on your Q&A for that reason. So surprise question. Everybody's looking all nervous, like, oh my gosh. So I want to know, what does dating look like in this environment? Do you have young men of color asking you out? Do you feel like you're being overlooked? What does dating look like for you guys? Because it could be like not at all. You could be like not dating at all. And I want to hear about that because that's the topic that I want to talk about. Sierra, let's start with you.
Okay. My boyfriend, I have a boyfriend. He's not Black, he's Mexican, but before I did start dating him, I don't think that I felt overlooked by Black men. I don't think that I felt overlooked by them. But yeah, I did notice that I never really got attention from like white guys, if that makes sense, but I never really seeked out that type of attention anyways. So it doesn't really bother me that I didn't get that type of attention from them. But I just noticed that some people have preferences, I guess, on the type of race that they date. And yeah.
Or did you get attention from Black guys? Did Black guys give you the once over or ask you out or anything?
Yeah, it was just specifically like white guys. I noticed that it wasn't a lot from them. I got asked out by all types of races, but it's specifically white guys that I didn't. That's what I noticed.
Okay, Camille.
So it's actually interesting because when I was in California, I noticed that I felt, at least in my high school, that a lot of the Black guys weren't dating Black girls at all. They were dating every other race than Black girls. And I always told my mom that I haven't ever seen like a single Black guy interested in me. And it was just something that was surprising in me because, when my parents were growing up, it was a lot of Black guys dating Black girls, Black love, all of that, and I never saw that in my high school. And now that I'm in college, it's very different being in Boston, I think, because there are a lot of different races that are interested in other races. It's very like intermixed, and I haven't had many experiences yet here in terms of like the dating scene or talking to other guys, but at least in high school, that's how I felt with the relationship between like Black girls and Black guys.
So are you dating now, or are you interested in somebody, or is somebody interested in you?
No, not really. I've just been laying low, kind of. My friends and I, you know, we'll have our little crushes here and there, but nothing serious. so
Okay.
far.
So are you interested in dating and just not getting the offers, or are you just kind of like pushing back, like I'm not ready?
No, I would be open to it. I just think that I'm just kind of waiting on the right person too, and then school's so busy too. But definitely seeing how it goes. It's hard with COVID too, like
Yeah.
meeting new people and interacting in classes and all that.
Michael, are you dating anybody, or how did you find that whole scene?
I totally like have like the same experience as Camille. Like I feel as if like the Black guys in my high school, like what there weren't really interested in Black girls and like every other race. And I felt that I didn't really look like for like attention from the guys. I kind of just like was busy with school and like extracurriculars and like my sport. So I never really paid it any to mind. But looking back, I feel as if like I guess I wasn't like like the white guys never really looked at me or like any race at my high school. I think I looked like other places, like other high schools for like love, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. You know, dating is interesting, especially in this time. I mean, especially with, I mean, Sierra, you're talking to somebody right now, but the other two young ladies, it's challenging to navigate those waters without COVID. And it's even harder now because you can't like go and say, maybe have a cup of coffee or whatever, you can't. So once COVID is lifted, where do you guys think that you will go with dating? Like, will you like be more open? And I know that school is very challenging, and you're right to focus on school because that's what you're there to do, is to learn not to meet your future husband and start trying on guys' last names. I did that. That's why I said that. But I want to know like how you would navigate that. And if I'm going to flip the script here for you, just for you guys, if you could ask any question that you wanted, what would it be? I'll start with Michael.
With any question
Any
towards
question about the dating or?
I don't like, this sounds like I just don't really know where to start. I feel like once COVID opens and stuff, and once I join more clubs and like I'll be introduced to like more people. But I guess I'm thinking of like questions that I have. Just like I don't really have one right now.
What about you, Camille? That's a hard one, huh?
Yeah.
The reason
yeah.
why you're already in a relationship, but I ask you if you had a question to ask somebody about how to start a relationship or how to find love, what would that question be? It's a hard question, huh?
Yeah.
The reason why I asked is because during this time in your life, in this period, for those of you that don't have a relationship, that is something that you should be thinking about. I think that you should be like making a list of what you want, what you don't want, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and start there. And that list should always be on your phone, in your mind. Not that you're going to whip it out if you meet some guy and be like, okay, 10 questions here. So no, not that. But I think that the universe brings to us what we ask for. So if we don't know what to ask for, we get nothing. So if we know what we want mentally and spiritually, we can put that in our heart and in our mind, and that helps us to make better choices. You make better choices when you have a list, when you have a plan. You have to have a plan for your life. And I don't think that many people know that they just kind of go through life like, I'm going to meet somebody, or maybe I'm not, But I think that you need to have a plan for what you want. And life is organic, so it's going to change. What you want today is not going to be what you want 10 years from now. And thank God you probably won't be married to it, because then you can't change. But that's why it's important to make really good lists and really good choices. Like I say, you're not the diamond in the rough. You are the diamond. You're already sparkling. You're already shining. You are the shiznit. So when you walk out into the world and you say, I know who I am, I know my value, I know my worth, and this is what I want out of a man. So every guy that steps to you, you're not going to say, he's going to say, hey, would you like to go out, whatever, whatever. And you're going to look him up and down, size him. You're going to have a conversation with him, give him the 100 points, let him add or deduct for them. But you're going to know what you want. So once he starts talking, you can be like, this brother ain't, he ain't, not next. And you'll keep it moving. But I think a lot of times when you don't have a list, when you don't have any kind of goal, because you have a goal for your professional life, you have a goal for your weight, but you don't have a goal for the most important thing in your life, and that's a partner. And not that you're looking for a partner now, but this information that you're getting today, you can take throughout your life. If you don't know what you're looking for, no one else can tell you, and you'll accept anything. Does that make sense? That's why I asked you that question, because I kind of figured at this point in your life that you didn't have a list and you weren't even thinking about that. And no one told me that. And when you don't have that, you make poor choices. You can make a poor choice in a boyfriend. You can make a poor choice in a husband, which is even more damaging. Then because now you have this husband, you guys may have some kids, and it's just a mess. So if you make good choices now for your future life, if you're thinking about that now, not that I think that your whole focus should be on dating, but I think that your focus should be on educating yourself and being an independent, strong Black woman and knowing who you are and what you want out of life. So when life comes knocking on the door, you can say, oh, you're not the one. Please keep it moving. Next. And that's how that will go for you. So I have a little thing. I want you guys to write this down. If you don't write it down, I'll send it to you. So this says, attitude is a product of your belief system. When you cannot rise above your belief system, what happens is what I just told you. Nothing, zero. So when you discover the truth about yourself and you believe the truth about yourself, you become delivered. And this is a key word. You become delivered from other people's opinions. So what other people think about your body weight, your hair texture, none of that will matter to you, because you will know who you are. And that's the most important thing. So in wrapping it up, and just so appreciate you guys being here, I want you guys to support each other on this last few minutes that we have of this podcast, to share what you think would help each other. Like, what do you think what advice would you give to your best friend? What advice, Sierra, would you give to Michael? Or what advice, Camille, would you give to Sierra? So forth and so on. Does that make sense to you guys, or is that too confusing?
I think that I would give like both of you ladies, like, just know that you're worth so much, and that even though people try to bring you down, you know that you're worth it. Like, you know that you're superstar, you're the queen, you're the princess, you can do anything as long as you put your heart and mind to do. Don't let other people bring you down. And like, you're beautiful. Don't let anybody rain on your parade. That's what I'd say.
Okay. Sierra?
I would say, no matter like what hard time you hit in your life, just keep pushing, because just know like everything happens for a reason, and you're going to end up in like the spot that you're supposed to be at that certain time. And like Michael said, just know your worth and always remember who you are, and like don't forget your values in life.
And Camille?
I would say that there's always someone that you guys have to talk to. And I think we just often forget that if we're in those spaces that we're alone, or we feel like maybe we are the only person dealing with this. There's always someone else that has either been through it or is there to talk with you about it. And so just never letting that go, and knowing that people support you and love you, and that we're strong, independent women, as you said before. And so we can do anything we set our minds to. And
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. And I just want to let you know that even though you may not, you have great parents, all of you, and you're so blessed and fortunate in that area. If you ever need to ask me a question that you feel that you're uncomfortable asking them, please feel free to reach out. As a life coach, relationship coach, business coach, that's what I do. And I don't have a problem with it. I just want you to be strong, independent woman and to walk it out, walk your truth out and be bold about it. Don't ever feel like you have to change your body type, your skin color. There's no lightening. If you want to wear your hair in an afro, go strong, be Angela Davis. She was freaking marvelous as far as I'm concerned. And I think that so when you start building yourself up and saying, hey, you know what, I got this. And some guy comes up to you and he's like, hey, what's happening, mama? I'm like, please tell him that you didn't give birth to him and you're not his mother. So you have to demand what you want from that. And that's in life. That's in your job. That's in your personal life. You have to demand it. People will treat you the way you allow them. So what do? We teach other people how to treat who? Us. And in that, I just want to say thanks, ladies. Thank you so much. God bless and have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk with Sharon. Bye-bye.